So today in class we discussed some typography terminology. We talked about area versus point type, sans serif versus serif, and alignment. And we're going to put those to practice today in our file. We're using Gravit here, and you'll notice in Gravit your type tool is up here on the top. It's the letter T. In Gravit it's called the text tool, and Illustrator is called the type tool. It does the same thing. It creates type. When you have your type tool activated, you're going to see that the right side of your screen changes, gives you information about the type, the color, the size of the type, as well as the alignment, or if it's like centered. Okay, so for today's activity, you're going to start off editing type and then creating some. Now, some of the terminology we talked about, it can be a little confusing if you've never used it before. For example, this first block of fonts, I want you to change so that this is a serif font and it's center aligned and it's 10 pixels. So, how do I know I have a serif? Well, if I zoom in really close, I can tell I have a serif because the edges have little flourishes, little extra pieces. And something that is a sans serif or without serif does not have these pieces. So if I want to change this font, I'm simply going to select it. I'm going to go here to my right where it says appearance, and I'm going to click this drop down arrow and find a font that has those little pieces because I want a serif. If you look at the edges of fonts, you can tell it has little edges. Now people get confused often and they think serif is the name of the font. Serif is just the style of font. Sans serif means it doesn't have those edges. It's a style of font. Okay. Now once I have this being a serif font, next thing I want to do is center align it. If I go to my alignment, the center one is the second one. It's just centering all the words in the type box. I'm going to move this in a little so it's a little neater. And lastly, I'm going to put 10 pixels. On Gravit, it's pixels. In Illustrators, it would probably be points. But once I have that set, I'm all set for this one. The next one asks you for a sans serif. So we're doing the opposite. We want to find a font that doesn't have those little edges. This one doesn't have edges. It's perfect. Right alignment and 16 pixels. There you go. Okay. The last section for your check for understanding is really just showing me that you can create type. I didn't give you type to edit. You need to make your own. So we're going to take our type tool. We're going to click and drag. That's how you make area type. That just means you're working in a specific area. You're going to type the lyrics you see here. You're going to make sure you follow these specifications down on the bottom. Okay, when you're done with that, I'll probably be asking for a check-in, and then we're going to spend the rest of the time working on this invitation. So I gave you some text that you're allowed to use, and I gave you 3 options for designs. Once you have the ones you want, you can erase the other ones. So let's say I like this one. I can erase the other ones, make this a little larger, and bring my words down. So I'm going to bring this down here. Now what you don't want to do is take your type, make it like this, and be like, okay, invitation's done. Because I don't know about you, but that doesn't look good, and that's not an invitation I would want to go to an event. You want to think about hierarchy or like letting someone know what's important. So hierarchy just means the most important thing is larger and more in your face. I think the girl's name's important, so I'm going to double click, highlight her name, go to edit copy, and then go to edit paste and paste her name. There we go. And now I'm going to make her name much bolder and in like a more, I don't know, in your face kind of font. I think a nice script would look really pretty. Much larger. Maybe the color could be the blue from here so it really matches. So I'm really thinking about how to make this look unified and well thought out. I'm going to center it, make it even a little larger than that, and it's already looking so much better than this paragraph. So really think about which lines of type are supposed to stand out. Things like the date and the time of the event probably should be bolder and larger than the other information. When you are done, you're going to export this as a JPEG by going to File, Export, JPEG, and turn it into Google Classroom. Good luck.